My name is Vern Hoven.
And I'm Sharon Kreider, and we're here to help you with some questions and answers.
The forgiveness application form says 5 FTE allowable excuses are also allowed for this criteria. What are the 5 excuses?
If the business has a reduction in FTEs, right. All right, so this question came in from a viewer, and so we went to the application, and indeed it says there are 5 exceptions to the FTE reduction, right? If you have an FTE reduction, if you reduce the number of employees, then your forgiveness calculation is changed and less of your loan is forgiven. So there are 5 exceptions. So then I think I'll just go look at the instructions to the application. They're not there. So that set me on a hunt for these 5. All right, so first of all, these are exceptions to reducing your FTE count, your employee count. The employee rejects a good faith rehire offer. So put it in writing, make a rehire, employee rejects that, then by the way, in some of the additional information that's come out from SBA and Treasury, the employer is supposed to report the employee to unemployment, because we don't want, the system doesn't want the employee to continue to collect unemployment rather than go back to work for you. Number 2, the employee was fired for cause, voluntarily resigned, or voluntarily requested reduced hours. So that again takes documentation by the employer for what the cause was, or that there was a signed resignation or a request for reduced hours. The employer could not find a qualified employee to hire. It's a specialized job, and there was no one available. Number 4, the employer could not restore the business to a comparable level of activity because of government guidelines. The government CDC requirements or HHS requirements, another shutdown because of some surge in the virus. If the employer can't get back to full business, to comparable business, then that is an exception. And finally, there's an exception to this forgiveness reduction if the employee numbers, the FTEs, or salary are restored by December 31st, 2020, by the end of the year. And that is a change from June 30th, where you had to restore by June 30th, with the continuation in the summer of the COVID virus. Then that date has been changed to you restore everybody by December 31st, 2020.
Here's another question. How do you defer 1/2 the Social Security tax on Form 941?
Well, that sent me off to the form also, Vern.
And on the form?
Now, there's a new 941. The form was revised for second quarter of 2020 to take into consideration lots of credits that are available. This one is on the deferral of the employer's share of payroll taxes. So employers can defer the deposit and payment of their share of Social Security tax. That's OASDI, but not Medicare, only the OASDI portion that is otherwise due during the calendar quarter. The amount of the deferral is reported on the 941 on line 13B, and you can see in the instructions more information on what goes on 13B. Of course, if you're using a payroll service, then the payroll service is doing that reporting for you. If our viewer wants to know about self-employment tax, so half of self-employment tax can also be deferred. Again, what would be the OASDI portion, not Medicare. That half can be deferred, and it reduces quarterly estimates. Now, if we're going to reduce quarterly estimates by the amount, half of the amount of our Social Security tax, then we're going to need for the 2020 Form 1040, a new 2210 that helps us make that adjustment for the deferral on our payroll taxes. Then if I defer payroll taxes, half of them are due at December 31st of 2021, and the other half are due December 31st of 2022, giving our employer or a self-employed individual some breathing room on cash flow, on the people suffering from bad cash flow in their business.